prior to our public opening. So please let Ellie Elgin know or let us know at the desk so that we can include you in that very concrete way. Now I would like to introduce, well, no, I left some really, really important third person out. Wait, one last person and two people really, from Nevins and Associates. Cheryl Nauer, where are you? She's very, Cheryl is little in height, but large in stature. And I think she takes after the Barbara Mikulski mode of, of not tall in height, but tall in mission. And Cheryl has worked with us tirelessly, done all the media contacts, written half of what we're acknowledged for having written, and done an amazing, amazing job, and we thank her tremendously. And her cohort from Nevins and Associates, Kirsty Durr. Kirsty, are you back there? Okay. Oh, there she is in the middle. Okay. Kirsty was with us from the beginning and has just been incredible in helping us make connections and work to give visibility and life to this center.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you so much. And the last in your program, there are pages and pages of thank yous, so I'm not going to repeat them. The program is a litany of thank yous. And it's because so many people have helped. And so in there, please look at them. The companies that contributed paints for us to paint, the companies that contributed various things that helped us start, they're listed in the program. Patronize those places. Help them know you learned about them from the Women's Heritage Center, and that'll help us keep having more and more visibility and hopefully more and more support. And there will be a conference here on the 6th of June that anyone can come, that Maryland Now is sponsoring on women's history. And they said, where were the women? And they're having a panel of historians, an individual conference that is invitational only with the ABC Women in Construction, coordinated by Kathy Wilmot, will be happening later in June. And we'll be working with Maryland Public Television, another one of our partners, to have a screening of a special on Rachel Carson that will be also toward the end of June. The last thing is I want to thank Loretto Gubernatis. Loretto, where are you?
I'm right here.
Okay. And her cohort, Lou Gubernatis, who I'm calling the associate videographer. They have videotaped, Loretto has taped everything from the beginning for the last 3 years of working on this. And she's making videos, some of which are for sale. She also, on the TV behind this pillar, has one that will keep looping and give you some highlights of events that we've had while we didn't have a home. And we'll continue to do that. And this record of preserving history is so incredibly important. Well, okay, Linda is very humble, as you know. None of this could have happened without her. For the last over 2 decades, she every single year chaired the creation of packets that went to every school and every library in the state of Maryland, teaching about the contributions of our women and girls.
That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Her home and her husband have made a lot of sacrifices toward that end. He's here taking pictures today, so we appreciate all the supports of our families. A lot of my family is here, including my granddaughter, who is on this last panel talking about the future, where we have all the children. Now I would like to introduce a dear friend, a person who's become a dear friend and is a great leader in Baltimore City and in Maryland. She's an elected official on the Baltimore City Council and also is the chair of the Maryland Commission for Women. And I'd like to introduce Helen Holton.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jill, for that warm welcome and invitation. And this has truly been a labor of love for me. and a wonderful learning experience. So the first thing I have to do is invite you all to come again and again and again, because the contributions of women to the state of Maryland are just countless. Keeping in mind with the many hats that I wear, I'm going to ask a few women to stand here with me, because without their support, guidance, mentoring over the years, I would not be able to stand here and do what I do, and they are leaders in the community and the city in their own right. And so I would invite to stand with me Councilwoman Rochelle Ricky Spector, Melissa Tetchington, who is the current Vice Chair of the Maryland Commission for Women, Ms. Diane Williams, and Ms. Lynn Cottrell, who are also members of the Commission for Women. What I want to say is that as women, we continually work and support each other in what we do in bringing recognition, support, advocacy to the issues of women. And this center is an outward manifestation, the first of its kind in Maryland, where people can come and see, beyond going to the State Library archives and seeing the little plaque on the big plaque of the women whose notable contributions we want to record, that you can come here and get more than that now, and we welcome you to do that. I saw her, I'm sure she's still here, but I'd like to invite Carolyn Mattingly, the immediate past chair of the Maryland Commission for Women, to come if she's still here. Oh, wonderful.
I just graduated from Maryland.
Fabulous. And so this year we held our 25th annual Hall of Fame ceremony for Maryland. And the former delegate, Jean Cryer, may she rest in peace, started out as the chair of that event, and she passed. And others took up the charge, and as a tribute to her, we did this year's Hall of Fame ceremony in her honor. But recognizing the contributions of women, many who we know, but far more many that we don't know. And so as women, as leaders, we stand on the shoulders of women. We have no idea of the pioneers that they were to make it possible for us to do the things that we do. And so this is a testament to them and to future generations, so that little girls around the world, as they stop and travel and tour through Baltimore City, the greatest city in America, that they can know that they can dare to dream, to be anything that they want to be, because there have been pioneering women that have paved the way for them to do that. So I stand here as a member of the City Council, part of that leadership, as chair of the Maryland Commission for Women, as we advocate for women and girls across this state, to welcome you to this great place, the beginning of what will be greater places to come, of marking the countless contributions of women in our great state. Thank you all, to our chair, Shoshana, women who have paved the way before we got here. Please continue to do what you do and support this venture, not just with your feet, but with your pockets and everything that you can do, your time, everything, because it is important. It is our history, her history being added to his history, to tell our story in the state of Maryland. Thank you.
Some of you are too young to remember a conference that was held years ago, a national conference, where women for the first time, with money from Congress, were able to convene, to get together and discuss a more perfect future, a more perfect union. The conference took place in Houston, and that's when we declared our rights. There are two women here whom I would like to recognize. One, Carmen Delgado-Voto, who was with us in Houston. And Connie Morella, whom I remember in all of our work. Please come forward. I'm sure you have some comments to make for this occasion.
What can I say except to congratulate everybody who is here and those who contributed who are not here. You know, I must say I started before many of you were born. I was on the first Commission for Women in Montgomery County. That was back in 1971, and we became president, and that's where my politics began the road, because the women's movement put the movement into me. And I can see, not only with this Heritage Center here, but I can see along the way the progress we have made. So I want you to feel some assurance that we have made some great accomplishments and have more to go. I look at education. I can now see that you've got a woman president of Harvard, a woman president of MIT,
Oh, yes.
a former secretary of Health and Human Services who is the president of the University of Miami, and
Wow.
even in Paris, there is a new American woman president. I look at medicine. When you see that woman in the hospital, she is probably going to operate on you. And I'm reminded of a little boy and girl who are playing doctor. And the boy says, he's got the stethoscope. Thank you for your help. He's got the stethoscope and he says to her, well, no, I'm the doctor and you can be the secretary. And she says, okay, I'll be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. So, I just point out to you, we don't have enough in Congress. I went from the state legislature, which I loved, and I went to Congress, and then over to Paris. But we were 24 members of the House when I was elected in 1986 to the federal Congress, and there were only 2 in the Senate, and now we have like almost 18%. It's like 17.5%. Still not enough. But we have the Speaker of the House, we have 2 women who've been on the vice presidential tickets, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
I say to you, please look to what we have done in the past as inspiration for what more has to be done. And I'm honored to be here with you hard workers who've made this possible, and I will make sure I broadcast to the world what's happening here. Every time a woman is elevated, acknowledged, all women are elevated and acknowledged, and society is richer for it. So thank you, Shirley.
Delegate Barbara Robinson, please come up.
This is just absolutely awesome, awesome, awesome. And I am so glad that I chose that, I got this one. So I think I got the best one, and I'm just so glad. In 1996, I was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And also the former First Lady Maryland, Women of Achievement in Maryland History. And she commissioned that book, and I was featured in that book. So I'm just, so I feel that I'm a part of this. So I'm just not here representing the Maryland General Assembly, but I'm here representing me. So I'm glad to have been a part of this, whatever small part, because as I look around and I look at what we have done and think about what we can do and what we are going to do, the only thing that's left is that we do a Maryland Women History Day. I'm just saying.
Good idea.
I'll work with you on that.
You're on.
This is from Sue Cullen, who's now president of the Legislative Women Caucus, of which I sit on the executive board. And this says, Women Legislative of Maryland, official citation. Be it hereby known to all that Women Legislators of Maryland offers sincerest congratulations to Maryland's Women's Heritage Center in celebration of the opening of the first comprehensive state-based center and museum of its kind in the nation to recognize the contributions of outstanding Maryland women. The entire membership directs this citation be presented on this 25th day of May 2010, and that's from Sue Cullen, President. And with that comes a check that the Legislative Women Caucus is donating to the Maryland Women Heritage Center.
Beautiful.
And we have one also from Senator Catherine Pugh, and I see another one of my legislators here that's
The
standing.
past chair of the Women's Caucus.
Delegate Shirley Mason. This official citation, be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are offered to the Maryland Women's Heritage Center in recognition of the opening celebration of the first inclusive state-based center and museum in the nation, honoring the many accomplishments of distinguished women and girls of various backgrounds from yesterday, today, and tomorrow in Maryland. What an innovative way to celebrate women's history. Presented on this 25th day of May 2010 by Senator Catherine E. Pugh of the 40th Legislative District.
Beautiful.
And I present those.
I would like now to recognize a very famous Maryland woman, a woman who worked for the Port of Baltimore, the City of Baltimore, and the State of Maryland for many, many years at national offices, and who has always championed our port and our state, Helen Bentley. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We appreciate your being here. It is my pleasure now to introduce to you someone who is not female, who has helped immeasurably in enabling us to make this day the reality that it is. He has offered his staff, his assistants, his knowledge, the wealth of information that he has within him, and the ability to make us look good in the media. David Nevins. David?
Thank you, Shoshana. I'm very happy to serve as a token here this morning. I've never been a token, and it feels good. And I'm glad the board has a rule that the only gentlemen speakers allowed to speak to you are those named David. So I'm happy to comply. Just very briefly, I'm involved because this is an effort that I have to honor my mother and to serve, I think, as a role model for my daughter. My mother was a feminist before it was even popular. And by coincidence, today, May 25th, happens to be the anniversary of my father's death many years ago. And so every May 25th, I try to pause for a minute and do something that I think would make him proud. And so this morning, it's my appearance here and my support of the Maryland Women's Heritage Center. But let me say this. I serve on the Development Committee. And my chairs, Audrey Scott and Betty Buck and Shoshana Carden, we need to raise some money to keep this center going. So that is my message. This is our temporary home, and beautiful as it is, we hope to be someday in bigger, better space. But even this space costs money to keep going. And obviously, we're launching a fundraising campaign to find the permanent home for the Maryland Women's Heritage Center. So my message is, for those of you who believe in our cause, and I think it's everyone here, plus your friends at home and relatives and businesses and what have you, please support our cause. I would like you to note that in your program, you have little donation envelopes. So if you have the urge this morning, while you're here, please fill it out and insert a check, or say, check will be coming. But this is a great cause, and I think the men of Maryland are equally supportive of this cause, and we honor the women of Maryland and all of you who've done such a great job to put this together. Thank you very much.
I believe that Rosa Ponsell, our famed opera singer, died on May the 25th.
Exactly.
Am I correct?
Yes.
I would like to thank you. We have a representative here from the foundation. We have benefited from some of the memorabilia and artifacts, and we're very, very grateful. We thank you so much for being here today. And again, it brings fond memories of Rosa Ponsell's not only leadership in opera, but her promotion of male and female opera stars, enabling them to have a place to study, to learn, and to become part of our great, great country.
Right.
So we were very grateful to her, and I appreciate it.
And I do know what she would say if she were here today. First of all, God bless you all.
Right.
And she would say to this very great lady, today you are the prima diva. Yes, sir. She's done a wonderful job. I promised her 10 seconds, and that's what you get. This is a postage stamp commemorating Poncel. You may have one of those to tack on. And one of these. I want these to be donated from the Rosa Poncel Foundation to this wonderful organization because there's nothing like it. As one of our immortals and a great lady, she would have been so proud to share the stage with so many great ladies of this wonderful city, this wonderful state, this wonderful country of ours. And so we have a DVD of her, which perhaps one day can be shared with you all. There's that. And we have 3 very rare editions. There were 6 books written on Poncel and her remarkable career. And I've given you 3 from the Rosa Poncel Foundation, which you may have a chance to look at. And you cannot get them anywhere, they're very rare. And they are autographed by the author himself, Enrico Alloy, who's no longer with us on this earth, but in heaven with the one person he dreamed he would be with one day, the great Rosa Poncel. So here you are. Thank you all again. Thank you. And I'd like to meet you and shake hands, and you may touch something that Poncel owned one day. Thank you so much.
The First Lady of Maryland, Katie O'Malley. Thank you. Right here.
I'm going to give her a second here to, I want you to know that Judge, the Honorable Catherine Turner, my Judge O'Malley, also happens to be the First Lady of the state. She's been trying to get here, and she said, I don't know if my document will be finished, if I can get there. I wasn't at home, but I luckily called my house. She said, I'm going to get over there. I'm going to get over there. So I called, we did it all. She wanted to be here so much, but also, it's not easy to try to do all the things, have 4 children, be a judge. She's got really an outstanding judge, and be a very active, engaged, caring First Lady. We all know how that can be, right? So I want to thank you for being here because you're a very important part of our state and an excellent role model for our young people. Be my good friend Katie O'Malley.
Thank you, Francie. Francie is always so kind to me, and actually she's been a great mentor to me in this role. And I know how hard everybody who's here today has worked for this center for years now, trying to get a place where we can have all the wonderful women from Maryland, their stories to be told, in a place where everybody can come to learn about them. So I'm really excited about the center. It's a beautiful place, and I'm so glad it's in Baltimore City, because this is where I'm from. A beautiful city. So I do have greetings from Governor. He loved being the mayor, and he loves being the governor. But we do have a proclamation, and of course I didn't bring my reading glasses in. Now that I'm a 47-year-old woman, I have to, look at things like this as opposed. So I'm going to do my best to I won't read the whole proclamation because nobody needs to hear all that. But it is from the state of Maryland, from Governor Martin O'Malley. Today, Maryland Women's Heritage Day, May 25th, 2010. Whereas the women of Maryland have contributed to our state in countless, often unknown and invisible ways, even before it was a colony, and in addition to notable Maryland women, all Marylanders have unsung heroines in our lives. Our mothers, grandmothers, sisters, aunts, daughters, wives, partners, neighbors, colleagues, and friends. Their partnership in building our communities and strength in sustaining our families has often gone unrecognized. Without her, there would have been no state of Maryland, no country, no America. And whereas honoring the past, understanding the present, and shaping the future by learning about the contributions of Maryland's diverse women and girls will benefit every Marylander. Now, therefore, I, Martin O'Malley, Governor of the State of Maryland, do hereby thank all of the women and men who have contributed to the creation of this innovative center and proclaim May 25th, 2010, the opening day of the Maryland Women's Heritage Center.
Oh, very good.
That's the notable points.
Yes.
So again, thanks so much
Very
for having
nice.
me here, and again, thanks for all the hard work of all the women and men who have been able to put this center together.
Thank you.
We have come to the end of our program, and by the way, that was well worth waiting for. But I was concerned. With highways being what they are, even though you're in an official car, I was concerned that you wouldn't make it. But it was well worth waiting, right? Absolutely. I just want to remind you that there are refreshments in the lobby. There are those of us here who have stars who will be able to, I hope, answer the questions that you may have if you wish to discuss them with us. All of this really is the realization of one person's pursuit and dream for decades. That's Jill Moss Greenberg. And we would like to thank
For those of you who know Jill and those of you who don't, she is the heart of the Women's Heritage Center, and without her and her dream and vision and action and being here till midnight many nights in the last couple of months, and just years and years of contribution. So it was helping. We have Jill, the heart of the Women's Heritage
Oh,
Center.
that's beautiful.
And this is the future heart, right?
Thank you again. Have a wonderful day and have a wonderful life. Thank you.
Used to be Poet Laureate of Maryland at one time. I think I support women by my work. It is said that I write about women's issues, African American issues, and others. And I obviously wanted to be here because I just got back home yesterday, and I'm quite tired, but here I am with other women, my sister women, you might say. I'm inspired by life, and I'm inspired by what I see and feel and think, and I'm excited by the little triumphs. The big ones aren't that exciting to me because I expect other people are tremendously excited by them, but the little triumphs that happen with women who are not celebrated as often, and I think I'm inspired by them. When I was first appointed, and I was it for a number of years, I was appointed by Harry Hughes, which is longer ago than many people know about. And I think I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it because, nobody that looks like me had ever been Poet Laureate, and no female. So it was interesting.